You're scrolling through your phone. Two strangers start shouting at each other across the screen. And before you decide anything, you've already stopped. You didn't choose to watch? Your thumb just froze. Some part of you locked onto the conflict before the thinking part of your brain even woke up. You tell yourself you'll scroll past in a second. You don't. But the real answer is far stranger than nosiness. What's happening in that moment isn't a flaw in your character. It's a survival system older than language, older than fire, older than your species. And it's still running every time two people raise their voices near you. Think about the last time you saw a fight break out in public, a real one. Two people, faces red, voices climbing. Notice what everyone around did. They didn't leave, they turned, they formed a loose ring. They went quiet and still and watchful. Strangers who would never normally look at each other suddenly shared one focus. Why? Because for almost all of human history, a fight nearby was the single most important thing happening in your world. Your ancestors lived in small groups, maybe 20 to 50 people. There were no police. There were no courts. There was no one to call. When two members of your group turned on each other, the outcome could reshape your entire life. Alliances would shift. The pecking order would change. And whoever won might be someone you'd need to please, fear, or avoid tomorrow. So your brain evolved to treat conflict as urgent data, not entertainment, information. The anthropologist Christopher Boehm spent decades studying how small human groups manage power. He found that early human societies were obsessed with watching each other. Who was rising? Who was overstepping? Who was being punished? And who was getting away with things? In a group that small, a single unchecked bully could dominate everyone. So the group watched, constantly. Conflict was the moment when the invisible rules of the group became visible, and being one of the people who saw it gave you an edge. If you knew who won, you knew who to side with. If you knew why the fight started, you knew what could get you punished. If you missed it entirely, you were dangerously behind everyone else. Do you see what this means? The pull you feel toward conflict isn't weakness. It's an ancient hunger for the one kind of information that used to decide whether you lived well or lived badly. Your brain still treats every argument like a status update from a tribe you depend on. And it goes deeper than just watching. When you witness a fight, your body changes. Your heart rate rises. Your attention narrows. Stress hormones trickle in even though you're in no danger at all. You're sitting safely on a couch, and your body behaves as though you've been pulled to the edge of something that matters. That's not random. That's your nervous system preparing you to react to a threat to the group, because for thousands of generations, a nearby fight often was a threat to you. There's a brain system underneath this, and it has a name. Researchers call it the salience network. Salience just means importance. This network is a kind of alarm system in your brain that decides, in a fraction of a second, what deserves your attention out of everything around you. And it is tuned deeply and permanently toward two things above almost all others: faces and conflict. The neuroscientist Vinod Menon, who has studied this network closely, describes it as the brain's switchboard for detecting what's most relevant right now and yanking your focus toward it. A raised voice, a clenched jaw, two people squaring up. These are exactly the signals that network was built to catch. You don't choose to notice them. The noticing happens before choice, which is why your thumb froze. Now here's where it gets genuinely strange. Your ancestors watched real fights between people they knew, in a group they belonged to, where the outcome touched their actual lives. You watch strangers, people you will never meet, people in another country, people who don't know you exist. And your ancient machinery cannot tell the difference. Your brain did not evolve to understand a glowing rectangle full of strangers. It evolved for a world of 50 faces you saw every day. So when it sees conflict on a screen, it does the only thing it knows how to do. It treats it as your conflict, your tribe, your urgent business. It floods you with the same focus your great-great-grandmother felt when two hunters fought over a kill. The stakes are gone. The instinct remains. This is why a comment section can swallow an hour of your life. This is why you watch two creators feud who have nothing to do with you. This is why the news shows you conflict above all else day after day. Somewhere, somebody learned that the surest way to catch a human being is to show them other human beings in conflict. They didn't invent that pull. They just found the lever your ancestors installed. And there's a particular kind of fight your brain finds almost impossible to ignore. A fight where someone breaks the rules, where someone is unfair, where someone cheats and someone else is wronged. Why does unfairness grab you so hard? The psychologist Ernst Fehr ran a now famous set of experiments on this. He gave people a simple choice. They could pay a small cost out of their own pocket purely to punish someone who had behaved unfairly, not to gain anything, not to fix the outcome, just to make the cheater suffer. And people did it again and again. Strangers spent their own resources to punish unfairness they weren't even directly harmed by. Fehr called this altruistic punishment. The willingness to pay a price to enforce fairness on behalf of the group, and it appears to be wired deep into us. Because in a small tribe, a cheater who went unpunished would spread. Others would copy them. Cooperation would collapse. So the humans who felt a burning need to see cheaters punished were the ones whose groups survived. You are their descendant. That hot, satisfying feeling when someone who deserves it finally faces consequences? That's an ancient instinct doing its job. So when you watch a fight where someone is clearly in the wrong, you're not being petty. You're feeling the pull of a system that once held entire communities together. You want the unfair one to lose. You need to see the rule enforced. It's older than you. It's older than everyone. But here's the twist that should make you pause. That same machinery, the machinery that kept your ancestors alive, is now being fed by an endless river of conflict it was never designed to handle. Your ancestors saw, at most, a handful of serious fights in a year. You can see 100 before lunch. The instinct that once sharpened you now exhausts you. The alarm that was meant to ring rarely now never stops. And your body still answers every alarm, every feud you watch, every argument you absorb, every furious stranger you stop to observe. Your nervous system treats as if it concerns your survival. It doesn't. But it can't know that. So it spends your attention, your stress, your evening on conflicts that will never touch your life in any way. The thing that made your species so good at living together is now being used to keep you watching strangers tear each other apart. So the next time your thumb freezes over a fight, notice it. Notice the heart rate. Notice the narrowing focus. Notice the ancient hunger waking up. And then ask yourself the question your ancestors never could, because for them the fight always mattered. Does this one? You're scrolling through your phone. Two strangers start shouting, and now you know exactly which part of you stopped to watch, where it came from, and what it was really built for.